who would use silver, and for what certain conditions, and is it safe?
Sure. Most of the people look to utilize silver when they're immune challenged. If
Okay.
they say cold and flu season, that's pretty much the most common use that I hear. I've got cold, I've got a flu, or people around me have it. I don't want that. So I have them take about a teaspoon a day to 3 teaspoons a day of a silver hydrosol. It's a low concentration, very safe, and it works with the immune system because the particles are so small. If there is viral interaction, it will bind to the virus, denature the protein coat, or what they call the protein capsid structure. And if it's small enough and active enough, it actually can penetrate that protein coat and bind to the DNA or RNA that the virus has taken from you, because that's where it goes. It's not really living, it borrows it or steals it from you. And in this case, it stops the viral replication on contact, which is nice. And that's, most of the things that we're frightened of are viral diseases, the things that they say are, you need a vaccine for this, or the Hollywood movies like Outbreak or Contagion, where they play up the fear mongering.
Right.
With silver, we can stop that on contact or systemically if you do a sublingual administration. Now, the bacterial infections as well, that could be all over the body, you can literally weaken the membrane surrounding a bacteria by direct contact via the silver, what it does. If you have, let's say you had a bacterial infection in the eye, and you delivered the hydrosol right into the eye, it might sting a little, whereas this eye wasn't infected. It would feel good, the same stuff, and one eye would feel great and this eye would sting. Why? Because it's causing a bursting, just like that. Now, upon contact of that membrane, and it's imploding, and at that point it's unable to reproduce, so the infection is eradicated that quickly. Systemically, it takes a little bit more. I travel through the lymphatic system and the bloodstream by a sublingual administration at that point. And if a fungal species is there, like Candida albicans or yeast, it has a similar interaction of weakening the membrane surrounding it, going in to bind to the DNA of the mitochondria and stopping the bacterial and fungal reproduction processes. But even if it doesn't outright kill the bad guys, so to speak, it also facilitates white blood cell function.
Okay.
It enhances the targeting potential of the white blood cell. That's known as the opsonic index. So it does this by, of course, weakening the actual so-called pathogen, which now alerts the immune cells even more readily. Here I am, come and get me. In addition, though, silver and oxygen have a very special relationship. Silver is like an oxygen sponge. It can carry as much as 10 times its atomic weight in oxygen. The warmer it is, the more it can carry. Why is that important? Well, your white blood cells, your immune cells, your B lymphocytes need copious amounts of oxygen to do their job. One of their things that they do is to produce something known as reactive oxygen species, or ROS. ROS is what the immune system uses to basically disrupt, suffocate the metabolic respiratory pathways of these lower life forms that don't have an antioxidant potential. They don't have onboard antioxidant protection or defenses like our mammalian cells have. So the safety issue, we are not harming our mammalian cells by the introduction of this form of silver, whereas the lower life forms cannot withstand the presence. They can't develop a defense around it. That's why there is no resistance, like we talk about antibiotic resistance, hasn't developed for silver. However, if you utilize other species or forms of silver, like when people talk of species, they think of cats maybe. All right, you have a tabby cat, you can pet and purrs, it's very nice, right? But you have a Siberian tiger in the wild that can eat you with one bite. They're both cats, but they're radically different species of cats, so their properties are going to differ. That's what I'm talking about when I say silver speciation or silver species. It's like these are the properties of silver nitrate. It dissociates some. Silver hydrosol doesn't need to dissociate. It's already in the state, ready to do work, not bound up, not complex. You're not dealing with something difficult for the body to excrete. So that's a brief thing, and there are more properties, but it's a good question to ask because people need to understand what's happening.
Is it something good to take on a everyday basis? Is there more benefit there, or do people more often just take it when there's a certain condition that has
Well,
arisen?
those that are healthy and not immunocompromised may not need it per se. Some people, when they realize the benefit of silver and the fact that it is a naturally occurring trace element, we don't need gram dosages, we're talking micrograms, and it's coming in through a lot of sources anyway. But if you want it in that pure state, oxygenate your cells, etc., you could take a teaspoon a day as a prophylaxis, if you will. However, for people that are concerned about cold and flu season, I always say, hey, don't wait. Take a teaspoon 3 times a day through your winter months when you know you're going to be exposed. You're indoor a lot of people are getting sick. Not so much because the virus is causing it, but because they're disrupting their gastrointestinal integrity due to eating lots of refined foods and candies and sweets excessively onward from Halloween to Thanksgiving to the Christmas season. And all of these things disrupt our integrity of our gut ecology, etc. And then we say, oh my gosh, the flu got us. And of course, we became susceptible because we altered the terrain.
Sure.
This gets into something very important between the germ theory, Louis Pasteur, and the terrain, the law of the terrain, like Antoine Béchamp and Claude Bernard said. The kind of history that's not taught in medical schools anymore, as it has been over 100 years now, I think.